When they were pitching you this movie to put this on your deck lid, were you going, oh my God, what the hell? Can you run us through the pitch of putting this movie on your car?
So I was like downstairs playing with the dogs, getting our day started, and he comes running down the stairs. Natalie, do you want the good news? And I was like, yes, I want the good news. What's the good news? And he's like, we have a really cool sponsor for Martinsville. And I was like, tell me. And I knew when he came running down the stairs to tell me about a sponsor opportunity that it was going to be good because he never runs.
Oh, so he's kind of like me and Chris.
It's called the Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre, and you got the two writers, Chris and Mike, and Natalie Decker, who's going to be flying those colors coming up Halloween weekend. Yeah. Natalie, we got a lot of things to talk to you about, but I got to say to Chris and or Mike, let's go Chris first. Chris, do you realize that Natalie Decker is a social media fiend? Was this why you guys decided, or the people with the film decided to go with Natalie Decker to put your movie on her deck lid?
No, we had absolutely no idea that she was the social media maven that she is. We actually have a mutual friend, one of our financiers, and I believe one of Natalie's sponsors, kind of put us together. We were talking about it at the premiere of our film in Chicago. We were all together, of course. There were a couple cocktails involved, and somebody said, "Why don't we, get on the hood of a NASCAR? I know somebody. There's this girl named Natalie Decker that we sponsor." And kind of looked around. We're like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. It's only been a completely unintended benefit that she's so awesome at social media things, because Mike and I, so particularly me, I'm one of the worst social media people that's ever lived, probably. So she's going to have to make up for some really bad, some 52-year-old guys who don't know anything about it. I'm still scared of the internet.
I'm going to jump in here a minute. I just want to say that this is the one of a long list of things that have happened in bars over adult beverages and napkins. If you could put the venture capital industry in a booth in the back in a bar with a drink and a napkin and a pen, the whole financial world anywhere in the world would be solved.
Well, listen, I will say this, but I'm confident, because we have Natalie on our side, that I know this is going to end up with much better results than most of the barroom decisions that I've made in my life. So, yeah, I'm excited that we've got
all of them except this one.
So.
Yeah, wait a minute, Mike. Can you say the same for that? One of your better barroom decisions?
Yeah, but first of all, I want to know what a maven is. It definitely was. And like Chris had mentioned this before, when Todd was like, hey, you guys want to be on the hood of a NASCAR? I'm like, only if I get to wear the bikini and he gets to wear the ball gown. I don't look good in ball gowns. Aside from that, we're good. But Chris was like, it goes together like peanut butter and chocolate. And I'm like, oh, well, I like peanut butter and chocolate, so let's do it. And then, of course, I didn't know who Natalie was at the time. And then when I looked her up, I'm like, Chris, we may have gotten in over our heads here. This girl's a badass, and we're like two old imbeciles, so. But it seems to be working out really well. We couldn't be more honored and happy to be a part of this whole thing. And especially Chris and I both have daughters. I have two daughters. I have a young one too. And seeing Natalie out there just absolutely whipping maximum ass in a male-dominated sport is inspiring to me, and it's inspiring to my daughters too. So it's really it serves a bunch of different purposes. But if you put horror movies, NASCAR, professional wrestling, and rock and roll together, that's America, right?
Oh,
that's America. How more American can you get? It just seems like a no-brainer to me.
Natalie, how do you follow up that last 5-minute conversation? Can you?
Okay, so before we even went live, we were all talking, and my face already hurts from laughing and smiling so much. I'm so excited. This is gonna be so much fun. I just can't wait. And the car, which I've said so many times to so many people, but the car in the race suit looks so great. and it's amazing. It really is, and I can't wait. I'm so thrilled to be a part of all of this.
I mean, you're going to have to frame this race suit. You're going to have to get a big old shadow box frame, and because you're not going to wear it again, but this is going to be like a massive collector's item come down the road.
I know it is. It really is. And maybe we can do something like auction it off or do something really
There you go.
But it is going to be so special. So yeah, we'll definitely have to do something really cool.
A shout out to my brother, Mark Carey, by the way, who was the graphic designer who designed the logos. So can't take credit for that.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Designs all our stuff.
Did they?
He does it for free.
We like it.
Another
He's good, Andy.
decision made in bar. Yeah, right.
Whoa. But Natalie, this is, again, we've seen the trailer and we've done our research on this movie. This is about 180 degrees of the Natalie that we see on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. This is showing a side of Natalie that's like, this chick's a badass, man.
Well, I mean, it would be a dream to be in a movie like that. Like, I wish I could have been in the movie. But
Well, wait till we see in the sequel.
Oh,
so bad. I want to so bad. Count me in. Last night I was at a haunted house walk trail, and the whole time I was just thinking of you guys. I was like, when are the zombies coming?
I watched part of the Xfinity race yesterday, and I was thinking of you the whole time when I saw somebody spinning out at the end in the wind. So that was I was darn excited about that. I'm looking so forward to seeing you in that car flying around that track, man. It's gonna be awesome.
okay. So is this NASCAR experience a first for you guys, Mike, Chris? Have you been to racetracks before? Have you watched races on TV? What is your first impression?
Well, I mean, I was on the fire department for 15 years, and those guys were race nuts. So when there was a race on, they were watching it. So I'm familiar with it, but I'm really a novice when it comes to all of it. I love fast cars, big old engines. That's the American way. Not so much into the electric cars. I think those are fine. It's fine for toasters and things like that.
Oh,
but hey, look. I'm all about not using petroleum, so I think we should burn as much of it as humanly possible. Just saying. So
for me, I've been to one race in my life in 1994. This will show you how long ago it was. I was at the Goodies headache powder Darlington 400, I think it was, in Darlington, South Carolina.
Did you just say headache powder?
Yeah, believe it or not. Okay, and they used to advertise Goodies headache powder on NWA Wrestling on Saturdays. So that was my connection. And there was a WCW car in the Saturday race. I think at the time it was like Winston Cup, when you could still talk about cigarettes and things like that, which you can't do anymore. But the one thing I remember about that race was Dale Earnhardt was still alive and he was still racing. And to me, he was the Ric Flair of racing. Like, when he did something, half the people either cheered or half the people booed. It was like, there was no in between on that guy. You either loved him or you hated him. So that was my one experience was Darlington way back when.
Did you say 1994?
I'm sure you were not alive in 1994 when I went to my first race.
That's what I was
He's the same age as my older daughter. Gosh,
I don't even think I was a thought at 19.
Probably not.
What?
That hurts even worse, Natalie. Thank you very much.
I know. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for that.
Whoa.
Okay, we're going to end this interview now.
My wife just banned me from saying the words windscreen. It's not windscreen, it's windshield. They're not programs, they're shows. I'm not allowed to say old man words. It's not an ice box, it's a refrigerator.
That's the last time
a garbage can. Okay.
I'm not going to reference years of my life anymore when I'm on with Natalie.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding you, Natalie.
Jeez.
I'm not kidding her.
We'll get you back to the interview in just a little bit. Have you heard about Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner? Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner is made of the highest quality components, giving you superior performance and leaving no residue. How do you apply this? You apply Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner liberally to the parts that need to be cleaned. You'll eliminate brake fluid, grease, dust, and dirt components. We know a little bit about that here in the desert, I'd say. And basically what that does is that makes you a happy driver because now your brake noise is gone and your performance has gone up. Boom. All right, let's get back to the interview now.
Statman, save us, please. Come on.
Well, I'm sitting here working out in my mind the next film that's going to be Zombies at Daytona.
Yes!
The next film is vampires. It's the Manson brothers satanic vampire death match.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
And we'll go to Daytona after that.
And Natalie, you're in luck because we were supposed to have filmed it already, but COVID hit and we had to put it off, and then we lost our funding, so we had to start from square one again. So it's not cashed yet.
That's good news for Natalie, though. Yes, see, good news.
Or bad news.
Wait a
for
minute.
Natalie, depending. If it's
You put
terrible.
me in for all of it.
No, it's great. It'll be awesome. Be better than the first one.
Wait a minute, though. Explain that, because I don't understand that part of Hollywood. You lose your funding. I mean, was there a check cashed? Was there?
No,
I mean,
that's a long story.
okay,
Really
okay, no, that's fine, that's fine.
COVID related, but yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
okay.
COVID
Who
related.
were financing it basically went out of
Just-
business.
it's
Okay,
so
okay, I
early.
gotcha.
You know.
But now it opens up the door for new companies or new people or whatever to come on in and say, let's go vampire
Right.
murder case.
And we work outside of the Hollywood system, although we're still involved with the SAG and IATSE union and all that, but we don't operate within the studio system. That's a whole different ball game.
Okay.
I can't tell. You and Chris look like you're so part of the Suits community, both of you guys. Yeah, it's why you're not hanging out the Warner Brothers lot, you bastards.
Got it, yeah.
Chris Margetis, Mike Carey, Natalie Decker joining us here in the Freak Nation. I want to hear Natalie Decker's take on scary movies. I like to hear millennials' takes or younger people's takes on what's scary to them in their 20s when guys our age. I mean, that S was, if you weren't dying in a movie from legit blood, that it just wasn't scary. Exorcist, hello. Natalie, what are some scary movies that you grew up listening or grew up watching?
Anything zombie related, because I feel like I can relate to it a little bit. If that's going to happen in real life, like, you know, I want to watch the movie so I can see what I have to do to survive.
Be an imbecile and you'll survive.
I'm terrified of zombies.
Like Market, it's gonna turn me into a freaking monster!
Chris or Mike, what was it about zombies that they just took over? Whether it was on, was it with the series?
There's The Walking Dead.
Was that what it was?
Yep.
Shot it through the roof.
I think it's always been around because I think there's I think there's that common thought process of what happens, when I die. Well, what's gonna happen with that? And there's kind of that horde mentality around zombie films, especially the earlier ones, Night of the Living Dead and that kind of thing, that I think it makes people nervous, and there's a part of them that could actually see that happening somehow. And in a sense, we kind of just saw it with the pandemic, right, where we had this thing that just ripped through the country, and everybody's trying to avoid it, and we're a small step from exactly that thing. And I think that's why it's taken on such a, it's just become so big to people, and even people who aren't generally horror film fans, will obviously watch Walking Dead or any kind of zombie movie.
I got another take on it.
Go.
I think, well, in a scary sense, it's because you're outnumbered, right? So there's no worse feeling in the world than being outnumbered. That's the first thing, with things you can't reason with, right? The second thing is you get to kill your neighbors with impunity. Right? There's no ramification when you blow away Merv down the street who turned into a zombie who didn't return your garlic press a couple of months ago. It's like, I really want to kill that son of a bitch. But now I get the chance because now there's no ramification.
I like Merv. You got
one take on it.
On Merv, come on. Merv is a pretty cool dude.
He was cool, and then he didn't return my Chef's Kitchen garlic press. Now he's on the list. So if there's a zombie crisis, Merv.
Whoa.
Wait a minute. We want a little bit of sanity, not a lot of sanity, but
No, not a lot.
Natalie, you had a driving suit on your web. You were wearing a driving suit on your website at N29. I had to look that up. And it was a company that apparently in Wisconsin invests in startups. So you got Chris and Mike here that just talked about needing some money for their next movie. The three of you ought to get together. There ought to
Look
be
at Chris.
synergy there.
That man, I like your style, buddy.
Yeah.
Dream team right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you got to, Chris, all she has to do is pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I got some dudes here that, if you don't
She's got
come
one extra
through,
thing, but we
got
already gave her the
zombie."
roadmap. We already gave her the roadmap. Pick up the phone and get us in a bar together. That's the key.
And I guarantee it'll be Chris picking up the phone because I'm not the guy that asks for anything. I'll be like, you go ask. I don't want to ask. You ask.
But then wait a minute.
Do that in a restaurant.
Hollywood,
Chris, will you order for me?
I have to do all the dirty work all the time.
Okay, so I want to know, we've got these wrestlers in their twilight in lucha libre masks, and they're trying to fend off a zombie apocalypse, virus, whatever. When is that going to come into the infield of a NASCAR track? I mean, I know you got your next one already going with vampires, but I want to see zombie NASCAR drivers.
Yeah.
Well,
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I think if you could actually get a zombie to drive a car, that would be super
That would be
interesting.
scary.
Yeah.
I was thinking masks, they're really good luck. Is there a way you can bring me one for the race?
Absolutely.
100%. I'll bring the one from the
Bring them
film
both.
with me.
I would love that. That'd be so cool.
We'll bring them on Thursday.
We will have
Yes.
we'll have them there on Thursday when we see each other for sure.
Okay, wait,
here's
explain
the
that to me, though.
problem with
How are
NASCAR.
masks good luck? I don't know that.
Oh, it's on the
I'm
whole
sure
thing.
when you see the film, you'll
Gotta
figure
Yes.
it out.
See,
But what
I can't ruin
happens-
it for you. Yeah.
It's something my grandfather told me on my wedding day. Remember, son, wrestling masks are good luck. Thanks, Pop.
Thanks, Grandpa.
The thing behind it is that because in the film I'm always trying to upset my brother, so I decide for this Halloween mask that we're going to do to go buy some luchador masks, and I get them from this gypsy lady at a secondhand store, and she tells me that they're
Yes.
enchanted, and I'm just excited because I know he's going to be upset, and I'm going to make him more wrestling masks for the film. So. It was, purely luck. We don't ever really say if they actually are lucky or not, but
Yeah,
you
you
know,
don't know
we
if
do a lot
what
of
happens
hinting.
is coincidence or if they're really magic or in the
But for
second
Natalie,
one,
they're
you
going to be lucky.
explore
That's
that
the
a little
thing.
more.
For Natalie,
They
they're
definitely
gonna
looked
be lucky.
magical to me.
Yes, there you
They
go.
Hey, they
definitely
got us
looked
through a movie. We made a film.
There
about
you
it.
go.
People seem to like it, so I guess we're okay.
How did the whole Randy Couture, 6-time UFC champion, come about? Did he demand he come in there and whoop your ass, or you guys?
No, he doesn't have to demand it.
Yeah, the funny thing about Randy, the guy's like a Renaissance man. I mean, he writes poetry. Like he's exactly the opposite of what you
He's
would
gonna
think.
kick your ass for saying that.
I know, but what this, what the 6-time UFC champ would be like. I mean, he's nothing at all like it. He's just the greatest guy. We were fortunate that our director Max Martini had done a couple episodes of something else with him down the line. I think on the Unit or something like that. They had stayed in touch, and Mike and I had actually thought about Randy when we were writing the part that he wound up playing. So it was just crazy, kind of coincidental. Great to have a director who knows everybody in Hollywood, and we were able to pull it off, and he was awesome. I mean, it's so
And he was
good.
anxious to do something else, like something comic related and sort of try and expand his horizons acting wise. And he really committed himself to the material, no matter how ludicrous it was. And
Yeah, he's great.
He's like, I think Mike and Chris like to make up tongue twisters for everybody to say to throw them off. And I'm like,
Jeez.
Mostly each other.
yeah, exactly. No, he's awesome, man. I can't say enough. But we had Boss Rutan on there too. He's another UFC champion, Pride champion, was on King of Queens, and Here Comes the Boom. And he does a bit in there where he explains where the term "say uncle" came from. It's absolutely hysterical. Every time I've watched it with an audience, people always roar at that part, and it's so funny.
Boss is one of those guys that you'd laugh at him if he was reading you a medical journal.
Yeah, he's just funny.
Oh,
He's just
really
funny.
tell a
He's just a
story.
funny guy, just
Yeah.
naturally. It's had a crazy accent.
Yeah,
but
we had
it
such a
works.
great cast for the thing, and it was so fun. And I mean, everybody from from Randy and DB Sweeney and Adrian Pasdar, who are the established stars, to the people that played sort of but nobody's really a secondary character. You've got Caleb Torres, who plays a character called Butch, who's an Irish gangster, and he's hysterical, and just everybody put 100% into it. The actresses who play our girlfriends were great. I mean, they just committed, didn't want to have any special treatment or anything. We really abused them, and in a bad way.
Right. We get it.
Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
Easy.
And they
You gotta pick your words.
bring it on.
Mike.
Bring it on. And Jay Lund, who plays a character called Captain Marvelous, and Dave Meadows, who plays Carson Murdoch, just top notch.
Actually, Jay Lund is a great character, I would think, for a NASCAR audience, because his suit that he wears is very similar to a driver's suit. He kind of looks like a combination of Evel Knievel meets Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
In the later,
Adding about 300 pounds.
Yeah, but the outfit, I think, would really resonate with the fan base.
He's everybody's favorite character. Anybody that watches the movie, they're always like,
stop saying that. This is our promo.
Favorite character.
Cut that out, Mike.
The Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre, which of course you can get it on demand, iTunes, Amazon original horror film, tackles wrestling's most hated team. I was, of course, reading the title of the press release in there, but one of the questions I have for you, Natalie, is we get pitched a lot of things from a show, and sometimes people can't see our faces, and we give them this looks like, what the hell are they pitching us that for? When they were pitching you this movie to put this on your deck lid, were you going, oh my God, what the hell? Can you run us through the pitch of putting this movie on your car?
I'll tell you exactly how I found out that this was an opportunity. I was downstairs, and my boyfriend Derek, he does all of anything that has to do with sponsors and managing contracts and things like that. And he was upstairs. So I was downstairs playing with the dogs, getting our day started. And he comes running down the stairs. Natalie, do you want the good news? And I was like, yes, I want the good news. What's the good news? And he's like, we have a really cool sponsor for Martinsville. And I was like, tell me. And he just told me everything about it. And days later, we had the mock-up of a race car, the fire suit. And I mean, it moved so fast along, and it was just so exciting and so fun. And I knew when he came running down the stairs to tell me about a sponsor opportunity that it was going to be good, because he never runs.
Oh, so he's kind of like me and Chris.
We got him some exercise. That's good too. So we're helping people all over the country.
We got your great sponsor. The bad news is it's the Manson brothers.
That's right.
Yeah, you didn't get to the bad news part.
But he didn't say anything. He just says, do you want the good news? And I was like, yes, I want the good news.
Well, she's not saying he held up a picture of Mike and I when that was the bad news part. Here's the bad news.
Bad news is with these.
You got to take pictures with these guys.
No.
Now they can't tie their own shoes. They're pretty personable.
So now we've gone from bar top napkins to aerobic zombies. Now this interview is covered about everything. We need to go a little bit more into Uncle Merv, though. I like this Merv guy.
Oh boy,
we got to figure out how to
go there, Stat Man. Don't go.
We got to get him into the show somewhere.
There was a wolf man last Halloween. There was a wolf man in his backyard, and I shot it. But by the time I got over there, it turned back into his dog, unfortunately.
Well, we had a truck driver after he'd won a race. We heard he was outside, and he said, "Where are you?" And he said, "I'm on my back porch with my rifle, waiting for something to move so I can blast away."
It's a true story.
It sounds more like Randy.
That's Victory Celebration 101 right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's zombie.
Did he have a bottle of Jack Daniels with him? That would have been easy.
Probably.
Rifles and Jack Daniels go together like peanut butter and chocolate.
Peanut butter and chocolate. Yeah.
Chris and Mike, you talk about your girl dads. I'm a girl dad. Statman's a girl dad, and how do you justify such craziness, or do you even just say screw it and just see if your daughters adapt to this? How do you justify your craziness with these flicks?
I'll give you was that so much with the flicks? Like, so my two daughters, I have a 24-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they were both kind of weaned on this stuff. But when they start getting the picture of what their dad is like, as I was sitting yesterday with the 10-year-old watching something on the Travel Channel, and I said, I think I'd like to see a couple of Bigfoots one time. I think they'd be pretty cool. They probably wouldn't attack us or anything. And she turned to me and she goes, do you hear yourself?
Oh.
That's when you figure out, okay, they've caught on.
Yeah.
You know,
Bigfoots or big feet when they're multiple?
I think
That's a
it's
good
big
question. It's a
It's
good
big
question.
No,
for
but
me,
they love horror movies. My kids love horror movies, so it
for
wasn't.
me and my daughter, like my daughter turned 16 in July, and I wouldn't let her watch the film until she turned 16. So that was kind of the first thing. Although I have it on good authority that she snuck out with the Blu-ray and watched it at a friend's house prior to that. She told me afterwards.
She's proud of you.
Yeah, but I mean,
Aw.
it's a genre and it's a film. It's not, it's nothing that's real. And for me, I don't know if I really have ever justified it to myself. As we're sitting here talking about it now, thanks, Kenny. You're making
That may
me
be
think
the
a lot.
worst thing we could do.
Yeah, Mike, I'm retiring after this video. I can't handle it mentally.
Well, the other thing about this particular movie is it's not like this is not a super intense horror film like Saw or a Rob Zombie film or Hostel. It's not. It's very lighthearted. It's humorous. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's very cartoonish. Now there's a lot of language in there. Yeah. So but other than that, it's really a kind of innocuous. It's just a fun film.
Well, there's blood and guts, but it's contained and it's not just kind of random.
When there's blood, but it's not every scene. And there's only one scene in that film that I would cover my daughter's eyes for, and I blame Max Martini for it. But that's a whole.
There you go. Exactly.
Story.
Mike and I didn't write that part. So
neither did we. We didn't write it. We have a general rule: if you like the movie, it's because of me. And whatever you don't like, that's Martini's fault.
It's Max Martini.
Exactly. Okay, you brought up language, so I just have to drop this out there that we had an interesting moment with our 7-year-old last week, and she dropped the F-bomb for the first time, and she used it in such good context. And I do blame movies, but I'm not going to blame movies because I kind of have a trucker mouth myself, but I try to be good around her. And yeah, it's like, in a sense, as long as you know not to do that in school, okay, we'll just keep it under wraps in the family. Okay, right?
And if you're using it in the right context, like
it's right.
There's a little bit of pride involved there when that happened.
Oh, we couldn't stop laughing. It was really good.
Well, she wanted an explanation of why when we were angry or were excited, we'd say, "Shut the front door." She'd say, "What? That doesn't mean anything." Then she caught on. And then she watched Talladega Nights, and she goes, "Why is this bad?"
Yeah.
I went, "Oh, hell."
Here's the good news. She's probably going to Harvard because I swear a lot, especially when they're young.
She's very astute.
I'd be excited if I were you guys.
Right, yeah, I was a little proud, I have to admit.
We'll get back to the video interview in just a moment, but with high gas prices holding steady, it might be time for you to check out Lucas Oil Fuel Treatment and Injector Cleaner. It's a blend of oils and additives that contain no solvents. It increases power and fuel mileage that keeps your engine operating at maximum efficiency. Are you kidding me? It's like a tune-up in a bottle. Just add it to every fill-up of that snappy car of yours. And of course, it's as simple as... You get it. Now, back to the interview. Natalie, do you remember the first time that your parents recognized that you cussed or said something just completely off color?
Yes. And I was racing and something bad had happened. And I said some bad words on the radio. And once the race was all over, my dad was like, when did you start saying that?
Do you have a transcript of that? I'd like to
How old were you? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
I was probably 16. But the thing was, I hung out with all the race car drivers and down in the garage area.
We all know they talk like crazy.
I was starting to catch on what words were being used and how to use them. It was over the radio. I was driving my race car.
Amazing.
Oh, it's so funny.
It felt very
At least
powerful.
7 years old, like some people's kids.
Right.
Yeah, right.
We're ending this interview now.
But I don't blame movies. I blame, or my parents, because my parents, I've never hear them say any curse words.
Wow.
But I blame everyone in the garage area and in the racetrack.
Yeah, for sure.
Blame NASCAR. Yes. Blame all motorsports.
Natalie, you stick with that story.
If my kids swear, it's totally because of me. Yeah. After being in the Marine Corps, in the nightclub business, the professional wrestling business, and the fire department.
It's amazing anything but an expletive.
And I hate it. I really do try and stop, but it's almost impossible now. It's like, gosh darn it.
It's a sign of genius. It really is. You drop a couple bad words, you are just literally, like you said, Harvard. I mean, come on. That's just what it is.
I was raised by my maternal grandfather for many years, and he used to tell me he wouldn't like it if I used my street Chicago accent and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go with those guys down there and meet them." And he'd be like, "Oh, them? Does them have a D in it?" And and he would always tell me, if you curse, it really makes you sound like a fool, and nobody's gonna take you seriously. And he was right, and he's right. The problem is, I make my living off of being an idiot now, so I guess it's okay.
It works.
Yeah.
I was trying to get Natalie to drop an F-bomb in there and really aggravates the people.
Oh, we can do it. I give Chris and I about 5 minutes. I bet you
I want to do it in the movie.
There you go.
We'll save it for that.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the vampire sequel.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd like to go through. I'd like to start with Mike Carey, Chris Margetis, Natalie Decker joining us here in the Freak Nation. If you had your choice of soundtracks for one of your movies, give me 3 or 4 bands and why. Mike, Chris, and Natalie.
Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath. Let's see, who would be the third one? That'd be tough.
Perry Como.
Yeah. Sinatra. Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and Sinatra.
Boom.
Whoa.
Wow.
I
could dig that.
Neil Diamond. No, I was kidding about Neil. I do love Neil Diamond, though. I'd go Iron Maiden. These guys back here, Hillbilly Harold, like I said, they've got some great potential soundtrack tunes. And Black Label Society. How about that?
Zach Wilde, baby.
Yeah, that's probably who I'd pick.
So, is it, if we were in a movie, like if I was playing a part in a movie, what music would I choose?
Sure.
Your life soundtrack, yeah.
Okay, so my dream, I just have to set the scene.
Okay.
So if I had to pick a movie that I was in and I was the main character, I would want to be an assassin.
Oh.
And I would need very suspicious music. So I don't even know where I would go for that. But because I don't think people would suspect me being an assassin, but I'd want to be the good guy, but the bad guy.
So you're basically putting yourself in Kurt Busch's ex-wife's life. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Wow, there's a reference.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Zinger.
It's definitely suspicious type of music.
I like that. And look at you. You're all pretty and nice, and you don't come off as that way. Meanwhile, you're like bam, 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 and shoot people.
Perfect, man.
Chris, who makes suspicious music?
Gosh. Well, somebody that could do it. Jay DeMarcus would be
Jay DeMarcus from Rascal Flatts, who's in our movie.
Stuff. I mean, he did all the song music for our film.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Jay DeMarcus.
Yeah, for sure. So
Chris Isaac. Chris Isaac would be a good.
He does. Yeah.
Right.
How about the Doors?
About him.
Oh, yes.
Wow, this is
the Doors would be good.
Yeah.
Well, let me just share with you somebody you should consider. He lives here in Phoenix. A good friend,
by the way, two of us are in Phoenix.
Good friend of the Freak Nation. Are you ready for this? You ready?
But please don't tell me it's who I think it is, because I'm.
It's not Brett Michaels.
No.
Oh, does Brett live out there?
Yeah, and it's not Dave Mustaine, although that would be Sweating bullets.
I didn't know.
It's not Alice Cooper.
All right, you ready?
Oh, the cool smile, man.
No,
I like Alice.
it's one of the Kings, and Mike, I'm surprised you didn't nominate this band. This should kick off maybe your next album.
I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
Aren't those pipes just the best?
Who is that?
I don't know.
Who is that?
Bruce Arians, former head coach of the Cardinals, used to play this in the locker room.
Hello, it was Tyrann Mathieu who found this and played it.
I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
Can I do it in the Painkiller voice?
Oh, yes. I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
Whoa!
That's what you do in the locker room. You don't play that to the guys before they go on some wimpy maudling. I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
I love Halford, man.
Love him.
He's great. He's one of my top 3 frontmen in rock music history. Rob Halford, Robert Plant,
Can't go wrong with him.
Bruce Dickinson.
Yep.
He lives there too. He's a Phoenix guy also.
He moved here in '81.
Yeah, he's been there a long time. Did you ever hear the song "Desert Plains"?
Absolutely. Same album with "Headed Out to the Highway." That was '82, I think it was. Don't get me going, Mike.
I don't live too far from there. I have a place in Tucson, so I'm not.
Yeah.
All right.
So this isn't a Phoenix story, but I actually bumped into Alice Cooper at a diner in Tucson. And he had just come from golfing, so he was wearing his golf outfit, and I see this guy come in, and he's got a white visor on, and he's in all white, but he's got this long black hair. Yep. And I look at my daughter's like, Dad, what's wrong? She's like, you're like freaking out. And I walk over to this guy, I'm like, is that Alice Cooper? And he's like, yeah, don't go over there. So,
yeah.
But he was in the booth right next to me, and I'm just shaking the whole time. And my daughter thought I was having a heart attack, But
no, it's Alice.
I dressed up like Alice Cooper Saturday night for Halloween.
Yeah!
Here it is.
Oh my gosh, can you get a full screen of that? That's awesome.
Hold on a second. There we go. Let's do that.
Look at those eyes, are amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
No.
Mr.
My
Nice
wife.
Guy.
Natalie, are you enjoying this conversation?
This is way off my league.
She's like, who's Alice Cooper?
Right.
You guys are talking about way
Natalie, all
before
those guys are even older than Mike and I are.
He's like, wasn't that a show
definitely not
with
gonna
Linda
know that.
Lavin back in the 70s?
Yeah. Right.
Nell's Diner.
Poor Natalie. Poor Natalie. I feel so terrible for you, seriously.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm enjoying it.
It's all going to be over in a week.
All that you need to know is Chris and I are writing
You'll
your
never have to see us
coattails.
again
That's
after
all
that if you
need
don't
to
want
know.
to.
What's great about this is we'll probably use 2 minutes of this 40-minute interview.
Story of my life.
Well, you can go to the bar and have a couple cocktails and watch the rest of it.
Right.
There you go.
Look at these idiots. Be more barroom talk for you.
Do you know how many times Chris and I were like, respectively, that close to like making something in the entertainment world, whether it was professional wrestling or TV or whatever, only to be cut off at the legs like the last minute.
It's the
I was
story
on
of
this
our life.
TV
Don't
show
worry
and I was playing an underboss on this TV show with a guy from The Sopranos, and they came up to us and they're like, guys, the next season, we're writing the show around you guys. You guys are going to be, and we're like, great. They canceled it 3 days later.
Oh my God.
The word was out.
Or as my wife would say, you're the kiss of death for TV shows. Every show I'm on, they cancel it.
And that's
So
executive
Chicago
producer.
Fire. Except
That's
Chicago.
executive producer
there you go.
Merv.
There you
down
go.
the street.
Merv.
You gotta watch Merv,
That damn Merv.
Merv
Problem.
shows up every
Glad I shot his
Merv was
dog.
the EP and got Mike bounced off the show. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, I'm going to lean on you guys, including Natalie. We'll get the links out. We'll get this. We'll spray it all over. We'll spray it all over the social media landscape this week. Natalie, Chris, Mike, I expect you to help us out. Okay.
We're doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Go watch the flick,
This is
people.
badass, man. Hopefully, somewhere down the line, we'll be able to hook up because this with you three, this is a
fun.
comedy show, man. Natalie's back there.
And we're restraining ourselves because
Yeah.
I was going to say, we're all back. So, yeah.
I'm sure you are.
all of our people tell us, come on, big guys, take it easy on these shows, and so that's what we're doing. So.
Well, hey, frankly, when I said let's have Natalie and one of the writers on, the guy says, you know what? Can you have both of those bastards on? Mike will get pissed if Chris takes a spotlight, and Chris will get pissed if Mike takes a spotlight. I said,
that's it.
And actually, we don't do that. Yeah, we don't. That doesn't bother us one bit.
I know it.
I'm like, you go. I'm fine. It's fine.
Well,
I'm close to Phoenix, so anytime I'm over there, I will I'll certainly reach out.
Please do. Frankly, I'm glad we did this, man.
Get that cocktail napkin out.
Yeah.
Oh, hell.
Just remember, one of her sponsors bankrolls startup companies. So you got to stay close to this woman.
I'm putting that on you, Scott.
Look,
man.
I'm like, look, if you go to see the movie, that's fine. But I want everybody to watch her race, regardless of the car, because you're going to see something very incredible, and it's not to be missed. That's for sure. And then if you go watch our junkie movie, that's fine. But you have to watch her race.
Right.
In all seriousness, I do want to say how incredibly proud I am to be associated with her, because this is just it's amazing. And again, as we've said before, as you know, guys who have daughters, it's so cool to see somebody doing what she's doing, and to me, it's just such a great role model. And not just because it's a male-dominated sport or whatever, just going out there and being independent and grabbing it by the tail and and run with it. I think it's awesome. And I think I know I speak for Mike, in the spirit of independence, which we make independent movies. I'm just could not be more proud to be associated with that.
I agree.
It's really exciting.
It's Chris, after a 40-minute joke, you can't follow that up with in all seriousness.
Here's what's inspiring, and this is what people don't understand. Whatever you want to do in your life, people always think, oh man, that's impossible. Look, nothing's impossible. Mm-hmm. You're looking at whoever you're looking at and wanting to do what that person's doing. At some point in time, they were in that spot looking at somebody else thinking, I would really like to do that. So what you need to do in your life is dream the biggest dream you can dream, and then work your ass off to make it happen, and surround yourself with people that believe in your dream too. And that's really inspiring, no matter what that is. It doesn't have to be a movie or racing or whatever. It could be whatever it is. But that's what you need to do. Things just don't happen. People say, oh, well, I really want it to happen. Yeah, so but does everybody else. Everybody else really wants it to happen too. What separates people who want it from people who get it is hard work. And strong will. And people always quit when they're like that close to making it. Look, we're in our 50s and we did it. And when we started, people told us it'll never happen for you. It'll never happen for you. So while they were telling us it would never happen for us, we were making it happen. And she's making it happen at this young age. She's just whooping ass. And that should be inspiring to anybody.
I wish I would have started at her age. So that's the other thing I would say. I wish, because I didn't have the confidence to do anything like that at her age. And that's one of the things that, again, I think is so inspiring, and something that I would show to my daughter is, here's this girl who's been doing this since she was, 9 years old, Natalie? 9. Or younger. That's incredible. And again, it's an inspiration for people to say, hey, look, here's somebody who is doing something that you would not think, they would be doing. And it's very easy to show that, and it's it's great to have good examples of good people who are not only talented but like Mike said, working their ass off, and I apologize for using that term, but I know it's Natalie, not you guys.
Working is a bad. I know it's a bad word sometimes.
But seriously, life is about effort, and to most people, it is a dirty word. And I think that the important message to get across with some situation like us and showing our daughters Natalie is there's a lot of effort involved there too, and you got to be willing to go out and grab it, because no one's going to give it to you. That's for sure.
And be willing to fail.
Yeah.
Fail forward. Yes.
I mean,
because nobody does it without failing. Nobody does anything without failing.
You don't learn without failing.
I did not come up with this quote, but I love it. And the quote is, the universe doesn't put walls in your way to keep you from reaching your goal. It puts walls in your way to separate people that really want to reach their goals from people who don't.
Ooh, I
like that. The exact quote?
Yeah.
Just like that?
More or less.
Something like that.
I like that.
Something about the wall. Whatever. I paraphrase it.
Break it down.
Very honestly, I mean, and again, I'm reiterating this, but I could not be more proud to be associated with Natalie and this entire thing. And throw the film away. I'm just excited to see her do her thing. And
I wish we had more time with her.
Right.
Yeah.
Too, but
Can't wait to be there.
To next Thursday in the photo shoot.
Yeah, everybody on her team. I'm proud to be associated with her.
I don't think she's prepared for it.
I'm ready. I'm so excited. And there's one thing, speaking of like hard work and dreams and goals, there's one thing that I've learned over the last few years. Because as you get higher and higher to the goal you want, as you get closer and closer, things get harder and tougher. And it's easier to just want to quit and give up. But there's one thing that I learned, and it has kept me going, and that is that it's an equation, and it's A plus B equals R. And I live by this equation. And what the equation stands for is there's so many things you cannot control in your life. So many things, simple things, traffic, that might make you late to work. There's so many simple things in the day that you cannot control. And that's what A stands for. And B stands for everything that you can control in your life. You wake up that morning and you can decide to be happy. You wake up that morning and you can decide to work hard. And that's what B stands for. And then R stands for result. So as long as you always focus on B and you do your best in every situation you're put in, you will always have your best result. And I've lived by that for the last couple of years, and it has helped me just keep going.
I love it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And
Yes.
you can't let little bull nonsense throughout your day slow you down. I mean,
you can say bullshit. Come on, we've talked about cuss words throughout the show.
Little bullshit slow you down, as my mother would say to me in my crib when she was tucking me in.
And in all fairness, Natalie's never experienced Los Angeles traffic before. So
Yeah. Hold on a second, Natalie.
she would learn.
I can't tell you the movie that if you watch our film.
Chicago's pretty bad too, by the way, Mike.
It's horrible.
The 80-94.
Chicago's just horrible in every stretch of the situation. And I used to love this city. I grew up here. I was born in the city, and I used to love it. It was a beautiful city, and it's destroyed. But we won't go there. No, literally, don't go there. But Chris and I will tell you the movie that you see on screen, if you see our film, and I hope you do, is not the movie we wrote even up to the day we were shooting it.
Oh, wow.
Every day, either because of a budgetary constraint or a time constraint or a whatever constraint, they were like, you have to rewrite this stuff. I wasn't even in town yet, and they came up to Chris, and they're like, we need to cut the script down a little bit. And Chris is like, oh, yeah, how much? And they're like, about 21 pages. And we were like
27. It was
27 pages.
Yeah.
So we literally had to rewrite the entire film. Then we had to rewrite it again about 3 days before we shot it. But we were like, okay, no problem. We'll figure it. We're not, you can't get locked into something. You have to be able to improvise, which is, the Marines are famous for, and the fire department's famous. You can't, look, a plan's going to go to shit. It's just going to happen. Or like Mike Tyson used to say, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Right.
Love Tyson, and that's a truism. But you can't let that stuff stop you. You got to be like, okay, I can't do it this way. I'm going to do it this way. I can't do it this way. I'm going to do it this way. That's why people give up, because they get tired of getting tired, and you can't do that. You got to be like, okay, get up, bust it off.
Right.
Let's go. And then that's it until the bell goes off.
Well,
now I'm inspired to call Natalie a sponsor. Woohoo!
Yeah! Business, let's go!
Well, then the $100,000 question is, again, the father of a 7-year-old, you guys are veterans at this, the ability that she has to still kick me in the privates by hopping on the bed, or if I'm sitting at the table. How it doesn't, right? It's like I was out front feeding the freaking goose, and the goose's wing got me in the freaking privates. She said, Daddy, did the goose hit you in the privates? Yes, I can't escape this, man.
Life is just a constant cycle of getting hit in the crotch with flying objects.
I believe that children are like a homing beacon towards, or excuse me, that particular area is a homing beacon for children.
Yes. Yeah. Natalie.
You remember when they were of the perfect height and they'd run to you? Hey, boom,
Yeah.
Like,
my 24-year-old sits on the couch and wham in the elbow. I'm like, God, dang it.
Yeah. I wish I had the
What
answer
is it
to
with
that,
you
but
guys? Because they don't want you to have any more.
Yeah.
So something like that is one of the reasons why I believe in God, quite
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh, hey.
It just happens too often. I don't mean to get off on a religious tangent.
Of all
or
the
anything,
reasons to believe in God,
Yes.
it's the
Yeah.
most
That's the one.
getting hit in the nuts
it's-
was
it's
never
those-
in my
it's those
mind, but
little-
now it will be.
It's
Thank
those
you,
little ironies in
Margetis.
life, man, where you got to act happy, right? When they hug you. And
No, it's
so-
Jesus, not again.
Exactly. That's exactly
Why
right.
do you call your zipper Jesus?
Oh, Natalie.
But I
Now we've hit
digress.
that topic, stat man. So we really covered a lot.
There you go. That
We'll,
and-
we'll fix this all in post.
that-
No, we won't.
Make sure that's part of the 2 minutes you play.
Yes. The Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre, which again, on demand, Amazon original horror film, iTunes, anywhere freaking movies are sold,
There
that's
you
where
go.
you can get the damn thing. Right? Chris Margetis, Mike Carey, Natalie Decker. Fellas and ladies, thank you guys for doing this, man. This is awesome.
It's been great.
And
Thanks
watch
for having
Natalie
me.
at Martinsville.
Yes.
Tune in. See Natalie.
Bam.